Well, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing this Sunday night? Good, it's good to see everybody. Welcome from our little town here in Scroon Lake. To those who are here from Scroon and a few surrounding communities, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here at our church. And exciting to be able to host this for as many years as it's been up here at the church. Quite an eventful few days here in our county, so our hearts and prayers go out to those that are battling some of the things back home while maybe you're here tonight to hear from some of the candidates. But our church family continues to pray for you and for some of your families. Some folks from our church were heavily affected down by the river, and it was quite the eventful few days. So we hope that tonight is a blessing, is a time to come and to really to I don't think some of the people that are going to speak in a few minutes might be too relaxed and rested, but the rest of us can sit back and relax on this Sunday night and enjoy the time to be able to hopefully build some relationships with maybe our neighbors that we don't know, and we hope that it really is a great time tonight. So we're going to invite a few of our youth from the church here to come up, and they're actually going to lead us. If you would stand with us, they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag will be the screen behind me. And following the Pledge of Allegiance will be Brooke Clark singing the national anthem for us, so remain standing for that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Winning the division, so we're really proud. I've been trying to find out the exact number, and I think 1989 was the first time that Mountainside had a Meet Your Candidates night, and so this is our 30th year doing this, and this is my 16th. It's hard to believe that I've been here that long. And the question I just want to take a couple minutes and answer: why would we do this? We believe that God ordained government, and the book of Romans tells us that government was instituted by God, and its role is to bring fear to those who do evil and to encourage or facilitate those who do good. And this is the reason why in that passage in Romans, when Paul is writing to the Christians in Rome in the first century, that he then says that because of that, we're to be submissive to them, we are to pay our taxes, and we are to give respect and honor to those who are over us as government. Later, Paul writing to Timothy, the pastor of the church of Ephesus in the first century, that we should pray for our leaders. And one of the things we want to do tonight is commit to our leaders that we will regularly pray for you. And that we would live a peaceful and a quiet life. It's interesting, the freedom to do good is the purpose of government. And when Jesus was asked the question, well, what is the greatest commandment? And he said there's two. The first one is to love God, and the second one is to love people. And probably no passage is more clear on the priorities of God than Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And probably you've heard this at different times in patriotic things. O people, the Lord has told you what is good, and this is what he requires of you, to do what is right, do the right thing. The second thing, to love mercy, treat people properly, and to walk humbly with God and have a right relationship with God. Throughout the Bible, the challenge is going all the way back to the law of Moses, all the way forward to the book of James written in the New Testament, is being fair to people, giving them a fair wage. There are three categories of people that are often mentioned together: the orphans, the widows, and the immigrants, those people that are disenfranchised, and to look after their needs and meet their needs. And so we want to challenge the candidates tonight as we meet that we want you to know that we as people of Mountainside, we want to be supportive of you. We want to pay our taxes, and we want to facilitate goodness. We want to be good, but we want you to know that you can count on us to pray for you, and we always stand ready to help in our community in any way that we can. We have a lot of manpower, and sometimes we can help out with projects. It's a busy group of people, but we do our best to be a part of this community. And I'll turn it over to Roger at this point. Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to start here in just a moment, but we've asked one of our teens, I think Emma is here, right? We've asked her to come and actually pray for the candidates tonight before they come up. Just clarity of speech and that we'd have a great time together. So why don't you come up and pray, and then we'll continue the rest of the time.
Please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just help the candidates, Lord, as they will deliver their speeches, Lord, just to calm their nerves, Lord. Just help them deliver what the people want, Lord, and what you want, Lord. Just let them serve you the best way they can, Lord. Help them with their community, Lord, just to make it a better community, because you've given us that, Lord. We love you in your name, amen.
All right, so a couple things as we get started, just so everybody understands kind of how we approach this. What we do is every year we look at the ballots for both Screen Lake, so for Essex County and for Warren County, and we go through, and everybody who's on the ballot, we give them an invitation to come to tonight so they have the opportunity to just express what's kind of on their mind as they're thinking about running for a public office. And so we give everybody that opportunity to do that, so it has nothing to do with or anything like that. We'd not join on either side of it. Simply say everybody's invited. Sometimes I get asked the question, well, I'm a write-in, can I share? And we say, no, not unless you're on the official ballot of those two counties, because if not, we could all be write-ins. And you want to do that, you go get your people however you want to do that. But that's kind of how we operate the system tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually invite all the candidates that are here. I've spoken with most of them. So if you're here, come up, join me on the platform here, because it'll make it go a little quicker if they're all up front here with me. And Joe, I know you came in, so come on down front. I know you're not going to come up on the platform as he's recently had surgery, but we'll make sure we interview you as well. So I told them what I was going to do to kind of like break the ice, and you can sit where you want, is I was going to come down through the line and kind of ask them to share their name, and then I was going to just pop a question on them. So maybe some of you I'll be harder on. So no, I'm just teasing. So, but here we go. So go ahead, and I'll have you stand, your name, what you're running for, and then I'm going to have you share, let's see. Yeah, how many kids you have?
My name is John Fear. I'm running for the town board, and I have 0 children. Just kind of set you up on that.
Since you set me up on that, I'm going to ask you how much you pay in taxes. No, I'm teasing. So, no, but good. You'll come up. You'll be the first one to start in just a minute, okay? We'll go right down the line, okay? So, perfect. All right, Julie, go ahead, name what you're running for, where you currently live.
Okay. My name's Julie Garcia, and I'm running for Supreme Court in the 4th Judicial District. And I'm currently living in Warrensburg, New York, in Warren County. Do I stop? I'm an attorney, so he has to tell me to stop talking.
But I thought it might be fun. How many of you have ever wanted to ask an attorney, what's the craziest thing you've ever saw happen in a courtroom? Like, keep it, like, there's kids. But what's the funniest thing you've ever seen happen in a courtroom?
That's a really hard question. Because most of the time when I'm in the courtroom, there's really nothing funny going on. I guess I don't have a lot of funny cases because I was a prosecutor and I do criminal defense work, so I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Not that
There has to be something funny that's happened at some point, so I'll make one up for you. So here we go.
I'm Rick Jarrell. I'm running for Scroon Lake Town Board.
Okay, so I know this.
Okay.
You worked up at the county,
No,
not the county,
the state.
shed. So I was wondering, how many miles do you think you put on in the course of your career? Rough guess.
During a snowstorm, it could be anywhere from 200 to 300. On a normal day, maybe 100 to 150 over a course of almost 33 years. So do the math.
Well, we appreciate it very much, keeping our roads clean. So Ethan?
My name is Ethan Thompson. I'm running for Scroon Town Board, and right now I wish I had worn my suit. So,
No, we're glad you didn't. So, but hey, you have two lovely daughters. So tell us their names and their age, and then also introduce your wife.
two daughters. My oldest is Hannah. She's 12 in 7th grade. My youngest is Emily. She's 8 in 4th grade. And my wife of 19 years, Jody. So, thank you.
I had the joy of coaching their girls for a while, so they're great kids. All right, Jeff.
Hello, I'm Jeff Suber. I'm running for Scroon Lake Town Superintendent.
All right, so how many countries have you been to?
Probably close to 30.
What's the coolest place you've ever been?
Iraq. Yeah, in the war zone.
All right, Meg. What's your name, what you're running for, and we know you live in Scroon Lake, so.
That's right. I'm Meg Wood. I'm running for town supervisor, and go ahead, give your best shot.
Give my best shot. What's been your favorite car you've ever driven?
Oh, well, I think my little Audi. That was fun.
We'll give it to you on that one. Those are fun cars. You didn't get any speeding tickets, so you didn't meet Julie then. Because you could have had a funny story in the courtroom. So, all right. Hey, so one more right down here. Joe. Joe, your name, what you're running for, and we'll go from there.
My name is Joe Provancha, and I'm running for county clerk. I've had the position for 28 years.
Okay, so there's got to be a funny story here somewhere in this group, okay? Out of all the appeals you've ever been given to not do jury duty, what's the craziest reason you've ever been given?
I've got one better for you.
Oh, you got one better. I'm all about it.
There's a gas station at the bottom of the hill, and this gentleman got out, went into the restroom, and he took forever to get out. So finally they called the police, and they got him out of the restroom, and he's dressed as a vampire. He was going to something up in a group up in Montreal. So he didn't have a license. They brought him into my motor vehicle. So that's the first one we gave a vampire license.
If you know me, I'm usually speechless, so that was good. All right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So because of the size of the group that we have, 3.5, 4 minutes, okay? So we're going to go ahead and set it for 3 minutes, 30 seconds, okay? And we'll start right here and just go right up one after another, and we'll go from there. Remember, if I come up alongside you, that means time to wrap it up. We'll play music, okay?
Good evening. My name is John Fear, and I was doing great until Pastor Dave came up and said that they will bring fear where there is evil. Not a really good way to go ahead and start things off, and then I have a vampire story that I got to follow up after that with. If my face looks familiar, that's because it was hanging around down here right over by the bridge as we went through and renovated the old Yellow Coach Motel into the Adirondack Inn for the last 4 years. And so part of that is really kind of our link to the town and where we have. And really, as I was kind of explaining to some folks today, I was out working on that. Why I'm running for that is because of I want to turn what I have as a passion for this community into the action for that as well. That those of you who do know me, I've kept a rather low profile, at least in my estimate on there. But it becomes the times where you realize, okay, there are some of the skills that I have from previous lives that I can go ahead and bring into this. And my wife Cheryl was telling me, well, you really need to go ahead and emphasize some of the other things that you've done. After I was out of the Air Force for 6 years, I was in the Air Force for 6 years, got out, and went to become a computer programmer actually at Travelers Insurance Company. Worked there for 18 years, and I left there 12 years ago as their vice president of field operations. And why I left there is because there were some things that they wanted me to do that my heart just wasn't into. And so I decided I'm going to leave a great corporate venue, and I'm going to go out on my own. This is 2007, if you've been doing the math. And you realize what happened to us in 2007, 2009. Went out into the economy, started my own business, and believe it or not, was very successful at it because I believe in the basics, that you go through and you do the things that are right, and you do them consistently, and you do them systematically. And that's the approach that we brought not only to our business here when my accountant realized we were buying the Yellow Coach Motel that lost almost $20,000 the year before we bought it, and we've turned a profit every single year. You realize that there are things that have potential that just need to go ahead and be tapped. And that's what I believe that we have in this town for the things that we can do going forward. And I believe that my background in that, when people talk about, well, we've managed some people, we've done some things, well, I've managed budgets in excess of $20 million and with people, over 400 people that have worked for me before. You wouldn't know that to see me in my shorts and polo shirt riding my bike around town. But that's because I look at those type of things and I realize those things don't define me. Those are the things that are talents and they are skills that after our 4 or 5 years here that I am thrilled to have the opportunity to go ahead and bring to what I believe can be the future of Schroon Lake.
Hi, everyone. My name's Julie Garcia, and as I told you earlier, I'm running for Supreme Court in the 4th Judicial District. I know 3 minutes isn't a lot of time, so I'll be here afterwards to answer any questions you might have. This is a really important race, and I know that might sound cliche at this point because we hear it all the time. Supreme Court is a 14-year term, so you really need to pay attention to who you're electing to that position. This year, there are 4 vacancies in the 4th Judicial District. Our judicial district is the largest in New York State. It's 11 counties. It starts at the Canadian border in St. Lawrence County, and it ends in Schenectady. I've been working on this race now for 12 months, so I've been out on the campaign trail meeting people. I'm the only one in the race this year from the North Country. The North Country comprises 6 of the counties of the 11 that are in our district. We need representation in the North Country. We're underrepresented in many ways. 3 of the candidates are from Saratoga County, 1 is from Schenectady County, and 1 is from Montgomery County. I was told when I entered this race that it would be impossible for someone from the North Country to win. And I said to them, you underestimate us in the North Country. I'm going to try. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to try to keep a seat in the North Country. We lost 1 seat in Essex County when Judge Dawson lost the race many years ago. We lost another seat in Clinton County in 2016 when Judge Latinen retired and a Schenectady attorney won down there. These positions, when you're elected Supreme Court judge, you also are able to hire a secretary and a law clerk. And just those 3 positions keep over $400,000 in salaries in the North Country. I don't think it's fair to have all of these seats go to Saratoga, Schenectady, or Montgomery County. I think what would be fair is if we had geographical diversity on the bench. I'm the only attorney in this race who lives in the park and who works in the park. And I think it's important to know the people that you're judging when they come into the courtroom. Some of you know me as the former district attorney in Essex County. I served as your district attorney for 4 years. This is the 2nd time I've run for Supreme Court. The last time I ran, I lost by a slim margin. So like we do in the North Country often, we don't quit. We don't give up. We keep trying. I'm on the Legal Aid Society's board of directors. I take a lot of pro bono cases as time permits. I'm on the assigned counsel panel in Warren County and in Essex County because I think it's very important to provide the indigent with legal services. I certainly could have moved from the North Country and lived in Schenectady or Saratoga County where I probably would have made more money, but money is not what I've ever wanted. I have a social work degree. All I've ever wanted is to help people solve problems, and that's what I've tried to do in the 20 years that I've been a practicing attorney. Many of you may or may not know that my sister died from a fentanyl overdose in 2001, and after her death, I became a surrogate parent to 2 of her children, Kristen and Casey. And when I lived here in Schroon Lake, we came here on 2 occasions when I ran for district attorney, and this is one of my very favorite events. It was such a warm and loving community for me to come to after my sister's death to raise the children, and eventually we moved to Westport. The girls are doing great. Casey's now 20 years old. Her birthday's today, and Kristen's in her 4th year at SUNY Plattsburgh. So those are my 2 children, my nieces. And that's been one thing that I focused on in my, as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, is helping people with the opioid epidemic. When my sister died in 2001, 5,000 people died from opioid or drug overdoses that year. That number's now 70,000. If I'm elected your Supreme Court judge, I can't make a lot of promises, but one thing I can say is I would love to see an opioid treatment court in the northern part of the district. Right now, they're talking about opening one up in Montgomery County, but we need a seat at the table if we're actually going to be able to advocate for specialty courts in the northern part of the district, and I would be very honored and pleased if I could have your vote. So I'm here tonight to ask for your vote and your support once again, and thank you for inviting me to be here tonight, and thank you for always providing such a warm and loving community and a place for us to present our platform. Thank you.
Let me start by saying thank you for being here. I am sure most of you know who I am. For those that do not, my name is Rick Giro. I'm running for town council. I'm 56 years old. I'm a husband, father, grandfather. I graduated from Schroon Lake Central, as did my father and my daughters, and I'm sure my grandchildren will as well. I worked for New York State DOT for over 32 years. 30 of those years were in a supervisory position. I was dedicated, conscientious, and productive. I retired in February of 2018. I've always had an interest in town government, but felt that while I was working, it was not the right time. Due to my job obligations, I did not have the time necessary to make a serious commitment to the office. Now I have that time and the desire to make that commitment. I feel that I'm a strong candidate for this position based on my prior work history. I feel I would bring a new perspective to the position. My knowledge of highway maintenance, construction, and the ability to work within a budget are just a few of my strengths. I have dealt with the public taxpayers for years and feel I've always tried to be respectful of their needs. If elected, I will bring a strong work ethic. I believe in honesty, transparency, and open communication. I had a successful career by adhering to these qualities. I was responsible for several towns in Essex County, and I always approached the job as if it was my own personal property. I felt that if I was satisfied, the taxpayers would be as well. As you are all aware, we will be seeing significant changes in our town government. We will have a new supervisor and a few new board members. This is an interesting and exciting time for the town. I feel we have unlimited potential for growth as a community. I appreciate all the work our predecessors have done and what they have accomplished. It is now our time to expand upon this and carry it forward. This is a community we should all be proud of. I would like to make it attractive for new businesses with the potential for more job opportunities, especially for our youth. After reviewing Schroon Lake's current destination master plan, I feel we need to really study and revisit what is contained in this very detailed plan. I believe we need to expand upon the current plan where we identify our current strengths and weaknesses, decide what direction and opportunities to pursue, and what new businesses would be a good fit for our community. We should set our goals with specific timeframes whenever possible to ensure and maintain our motivation and focus on achieving these. We need to stay productive and diligent throughout this process. As outlined in the plan, we need input from everyone, local officials, Chamber of Commerce, current business owners, but most importantly, constructive and consistent involvement from our citizens. I believe with the right planning and forethought, we can grow economically while keeping it affordable for our current citizens. I would like the opportunity to help make this community a place where our children and grandchildren can raise their families and thrive. We should take advantage of the area we live in and further promote our way of life. I think in light of recent efforts such as the state-sponsored Frontier Town project, we have the opportunity to promote what we have to offer and really put ourselves on the map, so to speak. I am not looking to change our way of life, I am looking to improve it, especially economically for everyone. I would love to see additional lodging options to go along with our other amenities. Those along with our fine restaurants, beautiful lake, wonderful beach, and numerous campgrounds would make us even more attractive to a variety of individuals. This in turn would only benefit the existing businesses we already have. It would be convenient for visitors to be able to stay for a few days while here for our many events and attractions. While here, they would have the time to experience our small town feel and hospitality and would make them want to return in the future. People need and want options. We need to continue to maintain and update our infrastructure and continually monitor our downtown and think of ways to make it more attractive and welcoming to our visitors. We need to be proactive and try to stay ahead of the ever-increasing costs of services the town provides, such as our wastewater treatment plant, municipal water supply, transfer station, and highway department, to name a few. We need to have regular meetings with our department heads and our employees to hear their ideas and their concerns. We should constantly be working together to make everyone feel involved and heard. In closing, I want to assure the voters that if I'm elected, I will bring an outstanding work effort and dedication. I will strive to make the board approachable and people comfortable to ask questions and feel involved in our decisions. I will always have Schroon Lakes and our taxpayers' best interest at heart. I would appreciate your vote to enable us to work together for our future. I'd also like to take a minute and thank Mike Marnell, Clara Phibbs, and Don Sage for their dedication and service to the community over the last few years. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ethan Thompson. I'm 43 years old, and I'm running as an independent for Schroon Town Board. I'm a native of Paradox, where I live, as was stated earlier, with my wife of 19 years, Jody, my two daughters, Hannah, 12, and Emily, 8. I have been self-employed as a carpenter for 18 years, have served on the town planning board for 3 years, and earlier this year was appointed to the town sewer and water committee. For me, running for town board started spring of last year. That's when I realized that if this is something I wanted to do, I better start doing my homework. And to answer a question I had, can I make a positive contribution to this community as a member of the town board? After sitting in on 16 town board meetings, numerous special hearings, workshops, and 2 years of budget meetings, the answer I came away with is yes, given the chance, I believe I can make a difference. Attending all those meetings, what stuck out the most for me was the lack of clear and constant communication. There are so many moving parts that make up this community that not having regular communication leads to inefficiencies, misunderstandings, and missed opportunity. I would like to set up a system of committees with 2 town board members appointed to each that would have, at a minimum, monthly communication with various departments and organizations. Each committee would then make a report at the monthly town board meeting so the whole community can be kept up to date as to what's going on. I also don't like kicking the can, I don't like loose ends, and I don't like mediocre solutions. With 5 of us sitting at the table, working as a team, none of these things should happen. My goal would be to work with the rest of the board, pulling from each other's strengths, not weaknesses, to produce timely, complete, and professional results. I would like to be a part of a board that plans for the future. Currently, I feel that we are always reacting, be it problems with the sewer district, maintenance of buildings and sidewalks, transfer station issues, and so on. We need to get out of this rut, start planning, and get ahead of these issues. As a community, let's set goals that will help guide that planning. Schroon Lake has a lot of potential. I want to help focus that potential, set achievable goals, and make plans that will help us succeed. Schroon Lake is full of wonderful, hardworking people. Many, even with families to provide for and the stresses of day-to-day life to deal with, still find a way to give back to this community. I would like to serve this community, and I feel my best fit would be as a member of the town board. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, I'm Jeff Subra. I'm running for Schooner Lake Town Supervisor. And being we're stating it, I am 58, okay? So thank you for attending this evening. It's great to see what a strong response, and I appreciate all of you being here. So it's been an honor to speak with many of you as I've had the privilege of going door to door in the past few weeks. You have shared your concerns, your challenges, and praises for our great town of Schooner Lake and the surrounding community. We moved our family here in 1998 with 3 children eager to explore the beauty of the Adirondacks. As a couple, Sherry and I were seeking a more family-focused and less stressful way of life, and we certainly found it. All of our children graduated from Schooner Lake Central with stories and experiences that are unique only to our little town here. As time progressed, our son wanted to be a fireman, and Sherry challenged me to join him. Thanks. No, it was good. The late Peter Gushie and many others stressed the need for EMS members. The next thing I knew, I was learning how to deliver babies in an ambulance, promising that I would be driving if that ever happened. Many years later, those early days led to becoming an RN, working in our area emergency departments and traveling the world with Samaritan's Purse with their disaster response medical team. No babies yet, but I've had the privilege of caring for many of our community members and war victims alike. Serving others is contagious, and our community knows how to do it extremely well, as evidenced by the many who came to aid the others during the recent storm. I'd like to offer a special thanks to all of our first responders who answered the many calls for help this last weekend. From my early adult years as a young banker to owning and operating a business for over 32 years, I have learned that people, by far, are our most important asset. I believe that communication is key, listening and learning to each and every concern. People want to know that they are valued and that their voices are being heard. Community leaders are charged to lead, but I believe that they are most successful when they surround themselves with talented people who are empowered to make effective change. One of my passions is to mentor and encourage new entrepreneurs as they learn to navigate the world of business. As a community, we collectively want to see our small businesses prosper. This will offer new opportunities, resulting in jobs for our young people, encouraging them to stay as a part of our local economy. If not, who is going to be stewards of our community in the future? Fiscal responsibility is a precursor in growing a substantial local economy. Taxpayers entrust our local leaders to make sound judgments within the scope of their positions. Utilizing my solid financial background with engagement in the process, I will ensure that we set realistic budgets and are accountable to spend within those limits. I believe that we have one of the finest beaches, some of the most pristine lakes in the Adirondacks. Our local lake associations have worked diligently to keep our waters clean and to minimize the effects of invasive species. I look forward to helping maintain and promote their progress and encourage others to keep our waterways clean and inviting. There is no waving a wand to resolve our present community challenges. Moving forward is and will be hard work. An attitude of teamwork and a determined resolve to face the challenges head-on versus passing them on to the next generation is very crucial. I believe I can help facilitate that progress through my leadership. In closing, I look forward to partnering with you if elected as your next town supervisor. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you this evening.
Very nice. Good evening, all. Thank you, Pastor Dave, Pastor Lyle, MC, Roger, and all of you here at Mountainside. It's a pleasure for me to be here again to share my thoughts with you. And as has been mentioned, I'd like to personally thank all the amazing highway personnel we have in town, fire department members, our EMS volunteers for their great response to the storm of the past few days. And I'm hoping I get my power back tonight. My family holds a strong belief in community service. I feel that each experience in my career has prepared me for the next step of service. I started here in Schooner Lake with my husband and his insurance agency, where I got a chance to meet everybody who was on the streets and in the office and to know how the town worked. After my son went to college, I sold the agency and became the district director of the 113th Assembly District, where a 5,000 square mile service area was appointed to me, and I managed constituent issues and oversaw calendars, personnel, found out an awful lot about Albany, how it works and how it doesn't work, and had a lot of experience with grants. After that, I became an interim executive director for High Peaks Hospice for about 3.5 years, and that was another 5,000 square mile service area, which taught me an awful lot about healthcare issues, constituent services, and other regional town issues that were so similar to our own. My experience on the town board has been an honor, and I would also like to acknowledge Don and Clara and Mike and the time we've had to work together. My goal for the town is to stress open communication, cooperation, and consistency. In a word, accountability. We should follow through on past town initiatives to establish a cohesive character of the town and a guide for economic development. The 1977 Scroon Lake Comprehensive Plan, which is still in existence, is very clear, and many of its recommendations, like the new town hall, enhancing the park, the fishing pier, and others have been accomplished, but there's more to do. 5 later initiatives and several regional studies were backgrounds for the New York State's Department of State local waterfront revitalization strategy that was presented to Scroon residents in the late summer of 2017. I have an excerpt of that here with me. I think that all these reports, I know, are all in the town hall. Anybody who's interested can go and see them, read them, maybe make copies. I highly recommend it. Planning for the future should be done in joint committees of interested community members and members of the Scroon Town Board. Ongoing comprehensive reviews should be made of our infrastructure and our assets. Day-to-day efficiency should be reviewed along with 5- and 10-year plans for maintenance, for replacement, for new technologies and new programs. Cost-benefit analysis should be an integral part of our planning. These strategies foster careful budgeting, and they can eliminate redundancy while structuring future projects. Scroon Lakers cannot live in a vacuum. Our issues are not unique. Networking can lead to solutions that have worked elsewhere. Cooperating with our neighbors can foster critical thinking and openness to change. In 2020, Scroon may participate in the Essex County experiment to develop a countywide solution for helping our local EMS volunteers provide adequate coverage when emergencies arrive. We can also help refine the details that are being developed to make this a success. Our transfer station is part of a countywide waste disposal system. Changes are imminent in the process of recycling and reducing waste in our day-to-day lives. We need to plan with our county partners. There are pockets in our neighborhoods still not served by adequate high-speed fiber optic internet communication through Spectrum and SLIC. We should work to complete this project so that we all have the same services available to us. Our sewer district is in desperate need of funding assistance. Competing for relief with other counties and communities is a great challenge across New York. Perhaps joining with small rural communities from across the state into one class of constituents could rattle some of our Albany lawmakers. Planning with clear communication should address the well-being and goodwill of the community, and I believe I am up to that challenge, and I would be grateful for your vote. And that's it. Thank you all very much.
Make sure we give Joe a couple moments.
As tall as I am, only the first 3 rows can probably see me. So the rest of you, just close your eyes and let my speech lull you to sleep. I am the county clerk for Essex County. I have been so for 28 years. I thank you for your support and your prayers, and I ask that you continue that for me. The office of the county clerk is probably one of the best kept secrets in county government, and yet it's one of the most important offices that you will have. It is the people's office, from anything from doing car registrations and your licenses to your business certificates, recording your deeds, your businesses, your pistol permits, your passports, anything like that that deals with the day-to-day life that you have, we do, and we do it well. Last year, with the board following my advice over the years, we were able to turn back to the board through taxes and through me not spending the whole budget, almost $1 million for them to keep and pay off some of their bills. Don't tell them that I said that, they'll want more. But I do want to thank you. It is a most exciting job. It is a fulfilling job. And yes, we do registrations for vampires. But it is a job that requires a lot of dedication. One of the things that we have done is we have put our deeds from 1799, when we were first a county, to date on our website. And we're doing the same with our mortgages. Now, what people would say, why mortgages? Once you've paid them off, they're no good. Actually, in the old days, you didn't get a land contract. A land contract is the person who owns it, you pay that person, and then when it's finished, you pay it back. They used to give them mortgages. And in those mortgages had the best Schedule A's, the descriptions, the elusive water rights that you're always looking for are sometimes in mortgages, not in deeds. The right-of-ways are sometimes in mortgages, not in deeds. So we're opening up to the land, anyone who's interested in your land and protecting your rights. We're opening them all up so that it can be on the computer. You can use the computer from any time, all day long and all night long. So I thank you. And by the way, when did this turn gray? Since I've been here. Oh. Thank you, Pastor.
What he's really saying is get your driver's license ID updated. You don't look the same. So, hey, couple things we thought it'd be nice to do. I see Clara Phibbs is here. Clara's coming to the end of her term, right? And not running in. So let's just all say thank you. Let's just say thank you to her for that, right? Mike Marnell was already mentioned, and Don Sage. I don't think they're here. But I also think it'd be appropriate if there's anybody here who is a volunteer fireman or serves on our EMS or works for the town or for the county, if you don't mind standing up, we want to recognize you. You've had a long few weeks here, so we want to say thank you if you're here. I don't see anybody at this moment, but it'd be really good if you see one of them to say thank you to them as well. So in the process, so here's what we're going to do. The guys and folks out here have been making coffee, okay? So we've heard all about ages, okay? So that means some of us are at a place now where we're drinking decaf because I don't believe in 1 o'clock in the morning anymore. The rest of you can drink caffeinated. We'll have both out there. And here's what we really want to do is just allow you to have some time with the candidates, okay? So they're going to actually exit off the stage right now. They have their things right out here. They've brought brochures and flyers with them and different things. And I want to encourage you, go talk to them, get to know them. They've only had a few minutes here, okay? And so go ahead and take some time to hear a little bit more about what they see and what they envision for the future for our town and for our district and for the Supreme Court. And that's a big one that's up as well. So take the time to get to know them. And also good to have Roger here as well. And I need to make sure I say this. I've been interacting with Dan Steck all the way through. He was originally planning on being here. He's come every year, and he said with everything that's going on, he's like, I just was not able to come this time. And so he said, please greet everybody for me. So I wanted to make sure I do that because if he asked me. So with that being said, we are free to go, okay? So everybody want to make your way out there, and then we're free for the rest of the evening. You are dismissed. Have a good night.